Hi everyone. I'm Alyssa. I'll be your group facilitator for today. I'm a student trainee supervised by Dr. Anna Smith, who is a licensed marriage and family therapist and professional clinical counselor. And today our group therapy is going to be focusing on anxiety and confidence. Okay. Oh, what? Sorry. I'm like wondering. There. Sorry. Technical difficulties. But just to make sure, since we're doing this over Zoom, um, everybody can see what I'm sharing on the screen, right? And can hear me? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Um, so let's start off with some introductions, and I'm gonna have you guys go around introducing yourselves. So say your name, your favorite food, and a hobby, and then what brought you in today, and then we'll start off with that.
Okay.
So whoever wants to go first, feel free to chime in.
I can go. My name's Hannah. My favorite food is probably avocados. I have an avocado with like every meal. And a hobby I enjoy is dancing. Do you want me to answer all of these right now or just the first?
Let's just start with the first two, and then we'll go to the third one, and then the fourth.
Great.
Anyone else want to go? And thank you for participating, Hannah.
I'll go
Uh,
next. So my name is Korea. My favorite food is pot roast.
Ooh,
And a hobby I enjoy is writing.
you said writing?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow. That sounds like that sounds fun for me. I always struggled with writing. So, how about you, Frederick?
Hello, my name is Frederick. One of my favorite foods I would say is like seafood. I love eating seafood, crabs, fish. Um, One of my hobbies is martial arts.
Okay. Martial arts, like, could you tell me maybe like what belt you are or anything like that?
It's Taekwondo, so it's a Korean sport, and they kind of focus more on kicks. And I am a first degree black belt.
Oh, wow, that's impressive. Um, okay, so now let's move on to what brought you here today. Anyone who wants to go first can go first. Um, I don't want to call on anyone. If I do, they'll take it personal. Um, how about you, Korea? What brought you in today?
Just dealing with a lot of anxiousness, overthinking, all of those types of things, and it's just impacting my relationships of me even wanting to get close to people or interact with people because I'm just so in my head.
Yeah, dealing with anxiousness, especially kind of like social anxiety, can be pretty rough. And would you say is that something that you're like feeling in yourself right now with the group?
Yeah, a little bit, just because I don't know anyone and I don't know, how I'm going to be perceived or, just being around new people is just scary.
Yeah, and I feel
No,
like, oh, sorry, did I cut you off?
no, I was going to say I'm wondering, how what people are thinking, so then I start overthinking about that.
Yeah, and I feel like that is something normal. anytime you meet someone new, you kind of don't know what to expect until you kind of get talking with them and kind of getting a feel of who they are. And hopefully, after today, you'll feel a little bit more comfortable. Um,
Yeah.
Anybody else? Does that like kind of resonate with anybody else?
Mine kind of resonates a little bit with it. Mine is kind of similar to that. Mine's kind of more just like maybe being more open and honest with my feelings or like how I certainly feel about certain people in a way. Not necessarily being mean, but just like not conforming, if that makes sense.
Just kind of like feeling like you can just be yourself and not really have to worry what others are
Yes.
thinking. Okay. And what about you, Hannah?
Yeah, mine's a little similar to Kriya's. I've just been feeling a lot of anxiety lately. I feel like a lot of it is just um because I overthink stuff and I just have like constant like these feelings of like judging myself that are kind of starting to like overpower my like daily life, if that makes sense.
So you feel like the fear of judgment from others is kind of impacting your life a little bit more than you?
Yeah, I feel like it's probably more like I'm just judging myself, but I think I put it like I almost like externalize that and like put it on other people. And I think like I'll like say something and then I'm like, "Oh, that person probably thought you were so dumb for like saying that." But like I know those are things that come from like m myself, but it still feels like it's coming from other people, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense. And it's kind of like a symptom of anxiety, is just like overthinking and replaying interactions with other people because you're kind of like afraid if they're judging or not. So you kind of like think it over multiple times. Um, does anybody like feel that way too when they're like interacting with other people or in general, overthinking? Mm,
Mm.
not
You
too
said
much.
in general,
I don't
just
really
overthinking.
like,
Yeah, it could be just
yeah,
in general, like just overthinking, worrying, anxious.
Yeah, for me, it's a constant thing.
Okay.
I would probably say the same too. Kind of seeing how being perceived, like how Corey said, being perceived by others and kind of knowing what they're thinking about me.
And do you
Eh,
feel like, oh, go ahead, Frederick.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, sorry. Um, Sometimes I guess like since we're on Zoom, it kind of picks up a little later for me. Um,
Oh,
so my apologies. Um, but I think we can all see that we're kind of like dealing with the same, like a similar problem, like a common occurrence, just the overthinking and anxiety. Um, is there, hold on, let me catch my train of thought. Um, does that make you guys feel better knowing that you guys all share a common issue?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's helpful to hear that I'm not like alone in my like feeling of just being like overwhelmed by my own like thoughts or like being like so like harsh on myself. It doesn't make me like feel good for you guys that you feel that way too, but it's like comforting, I guess, to know um that it's not like something that I have to like do by myself.
Do
Yeah, it makes it feel like you're not weird. Like sometimes when you're, overthinking or whatever, it's just like, why do I have to be like this? Like no one else is like this. And then when you find out that there's other people that are overthinking as well, like Hannah said, it's not that you want other people to overthink, but it is comforting to know that you're not alone. And that this is actually normal. You're not abnormal.
yeah, I agree with exactly what Corey said. just the same thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like not being alone, not all by myself. It's like it's sad that other people are going through exactly what we're going through, but it's good to know that we're, like you said, we're not alone. We can actually rely on others too and see how they're coping and dealing with it.
Yeah, and I think that's something great that we get to experience in groups is that we kind of all like share something similar with what we're going through on a day-to-day basis, and it just helps you not feel as alone. Um,
Yeah.
so let me look at this slide. I think we covered, oh, the last question. So how can the group support you in achieving your goal? Um, Whoever wants to go first can go if they feel comfortable.
Um, I want to say just being more open, like what I said earlier, with my true feelings and not having a mask and conforming to what other people say just to kind of feel liked, if that makes any sense.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. Um, how about you, Hannah? Do you feel a similar way, or is there another goal that you would probably want to focus on?
Yeah, I think just like having just being able to hear from other people will be helpful in like supporting me. Um just kind of like hear I feel like sometimes I get so caught up in my own thoughts that like I almost want to hear like feedback from other people and like have a more like objective point of view, if that makes sense. Like I want to hear other people's outside perspectives of how I'm feeling so that maybe I can like start to practice hearing a more like rational voice in my head instead of like this constant like you're doing everything wrong. Because I know people probably wouldn't actually like say that all the time to me, but like I think it would be helpful to just like externalize that and hear it from someone else.
Yeah, just hear things from someone else's point of view and how they perceive you helps.
Hmm. Yeah.
And Korea, what about you?
I think for me, if, the support is definitely important, but I think for people kind of showing up authentically and vulnerable will help me to do the same.
Hmm.
Um, just like we all talked about the overthinking and everything. And so that makes you feel like, oh, okay, it's okay for me to share that because, everyone else is dealing with their own thing about it. So you just feel a little bit more comfortable. So I think that would be how I would feel supported if everyone would just kind of be their authentic selves.
Yeah, and I understand that, and I think we'll make sure to do our best to be our authentic selves as we get more comfortable with each other. Let's move to the next slide. Okay, so quickly, I'm just going to cover group confidentiality. What's discussed in the group stays in the group. Respect everyone's privacy as personal information disclosed shall remain private when leaving group sessions. So kind of just try to be mindful when you're in the outside world, not to disclose any personal information from other group members without their consent. And then um, there's no obligation to share more information than you are comfortable with. So don't feel pressured if there's something that you're not ready to disclose, at that moment, it's okay to say so, and we'll just move to the next topic or the next person. And then okay, so exploring anxiety and confidence. So there's three questions that I would like you to kind of take a moment, maybe write um, your answers real quick on a piece of paper if you have with you, and then we'll check back in like a minute or two. and then let me know if you guys need more time. Have you guys finished jotting down a few answers yet, or you guys still need a little bit more?
I'm done.
I just need like 30 seconds.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm done now.
I like cannot answer this last question. That's very difficult for me.
Um, don't worry if you guys can't answer them all, that's okay. We'll just cover the ones that you guys were able to answer.
Okay, then I'm good to go.
All right. So, starting with the first question, when has anxiety in the past held you back? Was everyone able to answer this question? Give a thumbs up. Okay, so we'll move forward with this question. Um, so would anyone like to volunteer to go first, or um, whoever's ready to say what's on their mind?
I just wrote in everything. Like, I feel like I've missed out on so many fun times with friends or like missed maybe opportunities to like make new friendships. Um, I just feel like there's a lot of like social situations that I've missed out on because like my anxiety was so overwhelming and I like was afraid to like face new people, but even like people that I've known for like a long time, like it was still difficult for me in those situations to like kind of pull it together and be able to like approach a new situation or a new like setting just because of like my own like internal like negative thoughts about myself.
And um, if you feel comfortable and it's okay, what would be like an example of a negative thought that you have about yourself when you're around people or even people you know?
I think the one that comes up all the time for me is that like maybe I'm like not smart enough or like I'll say something and be like, "Oh, it was so stupid." Like that person's gonna think about that for the rest of their life, and like now you have to deal with that. I'll like stay awake at night, like thinking about like these like interactions that I've had with people where I'm like, "Oh, that could have gone so much better," or like, "Oh, I wish I didn't do that." Like that was like so embarrassing.
Kind of like it happened like a week later and you're still thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I just like, and then I feel like that prevents me from doing stuff in the future because I'm like, "Oh, remember that time that you couldn't fall asleep for like a week straight because you're thinking about that one weird thing you said to someone, and then it kind of just like spirals after that."
Yeah, that is hard. The overthinking can just kind of take its course, and if you let it, it'll go out of control. So
Mhm.
that is something that is hard to deal with. Uh, what about you, Frederick? Is there anything in the past where you feel anxiety kind of like kept you from doing something or hold you back?
Mine kind of fall along the same lines of Hannah, where she said kind of just reaching out to people, trying to be a part of them, to build up like those relationships and stuff.
Okay.
A lot like that in any sense. I've had a lot of regrets in that way.
Do you feel like you kind of like resonate on that part of it?
Yeah.
And what about you, Korea?
Mine is pretty much the same. I said being more vulnerable and reaching out to other people.
Okay. And then let me see. We'll do one more question. Uh, did you guys answer all the second one or the third one? Give a thumbs up for which one? I probably should have said the second or so thumbs up for number two. Everyone? Okay, we'll do number two. Um, so what are some areas you wish to have more confidence in? That could be a difficult question in itself because it kind of like forces you to like think, like self-reflect. Um,
I
so
think for me that one was actually really easy
oh yeah?
because it just reflected back to number one. I think there is like a connection between the anxiety and the confidence. I wish I was more confident in being vulnerable and reaching out to other people, but my anxiety holds me back from doing it. So
Indeed.
it's almost like the anxiety is stopping the confidence.
And I feel that way too, that there is a correlation between anxiety and confidence. The more confidence you have, kind of like the less anxiety you have. The more anxiety you have, the less confident you are. They kind of like affect each other, I,
Yeah.
I guess, in a like domino effect kind of way. Hannah, I saw you like nodding when Korea was saying what she feels about that question, and I wanted to know maybe how you felt when she was talking about it.
Yeah, it was interesting hearing her talk about like the connection between the questions. I think that one was pretty easy for me too, just because I like spend a lot of time like also thinking about like how my life could be different if I just like didn't have anxiety, which was why I'm like here trying to like work through it. But I think just talking like I wish I could talk with other people easier just to maybe not more easily, but like with more like just with I guess with more confidence. And I just want to also have confidence generally just within myself too.
Yeah, I think those are all good things to want to have. I think we all want to feel more confident in ourselves, especially when interacting with others, because talking to strangers is really not easy, especially when you're like an overthinker.
Mhm.
And you, Frederick?
Mine was same thing, same lines around that one. It was actually pretty easy for me to figure that one because, it's the whole reason I'm here to try to like work on myself. So for me, it was just to have more confidence in myself as a person, you know, confidence in myself as a person to engage with other people.
Hmm. Well, I'm glad you guys felt that was an easy question because I was kind of worried myself if that was kind of too straightforward. But I appreciate you guys telling me and letting me pick your brain a little bit. Let's move on to the next. So, can you guys see the image?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what I want you guys to do is to look at this image and try to find which little person kind of resembles what you're feeling right now. And we'll take a moment and then I'll come back in like a minute.
I feel like I'm the one that's kind of sitting on the ground facing away from the tree. Um,
Oh, I see it.
yeah, like on the bottom left.
Can you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Um, okay, so right here, right? This
Mhm.
one?
Yes.
Oh no, I'm running out of time. Okay. Um, can you tell me why you chose?
Yeah, I think I feel really like comfortable when I'm in my own little world away from other people. It doesn't always feel great. Like I'm turned around from them and I can't see them and it shuts me off from a lot of people. But
Mhm.
there's still like a sense of comfort from not having to like climb up the tree and interact with all the other people because I just know that like if I kind of go up there and become one of the people on top of the tree, there's like a lot of chaos and unknown and situations that I could get into where I could embarrass myself or end up like overthinking for the next few days on a situation or interaction that could happen with someone up there. So I think I just feel more comfortable just like sitting, chilling on the grass.
I was
Not like the one laying down with like the face in the like I don't feel like depressed about it, but I feel safer from anxiety and more calm when I'm just kind of by myself hanging out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it probably feels more safe to be on the ground than to be up like in the air with everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
And Frederick, which one do you feel resembled what you're feeling?
Mine was the same thing on the very bottom, just kind of being there, not really.
One sitting
Mm,
or the
Yeah,
one?
the one sitting down on the left, just like minding his own business, doing his own thing, not really trying to be out there, but at the same time just existing. Because that's kind of what I had answered for one of my strengths was when I get on the mat, everything kind of just disappears, if that makes sense. Like all my anxiety, all my worry just vanishes for those however long I'm on the mat for.
I feel like that's a good like thought to keep in mind when you're on the mat, kind of just like forget about all your worries and just kind of focus kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Korea, which one resonated with you?
I picked the one above the one that's sitting alone, that's hanging from the tree, but facing the opposite way. And I think I chose that one because although it's still facing the opposite way, kind of away from everyone, there's an appearance that, I still belong. I'm still here. I'm still with everyone. And I think that has to do with my wanting to be perceived a certain way from you, from other people. But in reality, I'm still facing the opposite way and I'm kind of just hanging.
Yeah. Like you're trying to keep going, keep
Yeah,
everyone, but you're still like
trying to keep up that appearance of being apart and
you're still
all of
having
that.
like you feel maybe like overwhelmed, just
Yeah,
trying to hold on.
yeah.
Okay, thank you guys for sharing that with me. Let's move on to the next. Um, since we're running a little close to time, let me figure out what would be the best questions. I think maybe like you guys can pick like one question from each like side that you feel is like most important to you, and then we'll talk about it.
I'd like to get rid of thoughts that just like speak really negatively about myself and just like the thoughts that keep like I'm putting myself down. Like I want to get rid of the thoughts that like definitely don't like no one said them to me, but I'm pretending that they came from other people. I'm like wearing that and putting that on myself.
Mhm. Yeah, and that makes sense not wanting to carry those negative thoughts with you because it kind of like affects your confidence. And once you are able to get rid of those negative thoughts and turn them into more positive ones, you can feel better about yourself like the way you probably would want. And and Frederick, which one of these questions stood out to you?
I went with the third one for circumstances. Do you steer from? I
Hmm.
kind of did it more along the lines of instead of turning down the people or saying, I have plans, I need to do this and that, instead of going with them, just saying like screw it and just go and hang out with them type thing.
Yeah, just kind of like be present in the moment. Kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a good example. Present.
And Coria, which one of these questions you felt stood out to you?
Mine was on the confidence side. Are we just doing the anxiousness?
Oh no, either one, because we're kind of
Okay.
running a little short on time, so pick.
Okay. So on the build confidence side, in a perfect world, um, how I would behave with full confidence is being able to actually achieve every sense of purpose and passion that I have without, the fear and all of that.
Hmm. And does that resonate for you too, like Hannah and Frederick? Is that like something that you feel is would be the same or similar for you as to,
Um, yeah, I want to say that if I could get that same confidence that I have when I'm on the mat and channel that to my real life situations, I'd probably like that one. Like to try that.
okay, you, Hannah?
Um, are for goals that I want to work towards?
Yeah, or the one that in a perfect world.
Oh, in a perfect world. Um, I feel like I don't even like it's hard to answer that. And as I'm trying to think through it, it's like I don't even know how I would behave with full confidence because I just feel like I've never had that before. So it's honestly like really hard to picture because I feel like for so many years it's just been like this constant like beating myself down. Um, but I guess I would behave like I would be more involved in my like friendships and relationships with other people and I would be able to talk to people more confidently and just more openly.
And that's something that we can like come back to in later like group therapy sessions because you might something might pop up later as we continue to grow together. And then final thoughts. What is one takeaway that you guys are leaving from this experience? And just feel free, whoever wants to chime in can chime in.
For me, just that I'm not alone.
Okay.
That was gonna be my exact same thing to say that I'm not alone in my struggles and that there's other people.
Me too. I'm
Okay.
not alone.
You guys aren't alone. There's always someone out there that's going through a similar situation. We just don't know, but that's what group therapy is here for. So I just want to thank everyone for coming and taking the time with me and, you know, sharing some difficult like thoughts that, is not easy to share in the outside world. So I appreciate everyone. And I look forward to seeing you guys again in our next session. And that's it for today. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.